morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the practice.
Hi everyone, this is Jean-luc here, your host for the Rinkside Cam. I'm super excited to be here just to share my knowledge, my expertise, and all the in-betweens. We are starting off today with the women's practice. I will be doing the whole day, but right now we're just going to be talking about the women. I am so excited just to see their approach for this. I know personal experience, first practice, sometimes you're really nervous, sometimes you're really chill. I think the main thing is kind of just taking in the environment, seeing the fans that are here. You get to see those familiar faces that sometimes we are so blessed with that come to all of these events. But I think that really just managing that energy and getting themselves prepared for the event that's and I think that just taking it all in is going to be super important for the women out here today. So here you can see the schedule for today's lineup. We are starting with the women's practice, starting now, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, but we're going to be also following today along with ice dance, the men's, and then the pairs, wrapping it up at the end of the day. I'm going to be covering all that. We'll maybe have a special guest or two showing up. It's going to be a lot of fun just to pick their brain at some things as well. And yeah, really excited. See some good skating. I think it's always interesting just to see the approach that different skaters have for their practice. I know Caitlin and I used to really enjoy when we did skate first. I think not doing too much of our element work and more about the transitional spacing work. I think when you understand the in-betweens of elements and the way that you set them up, it's a lot easier to feel like you can execute them with not just the power and grace, but to get those positive GUEs. And at the end of the day, that's how we're competing. We're trying to execute those elements at the best of our abilities. And I think that the way you set those up on your in-betweens is so, so crucial. Our first skater here, Olga, about to start her program. A great strategy for her, getting herself set up. Understanding that it is just the first practice, I would love to see a little bit more facial engagement from her throughout this. I feel like she's really energetically hitting all of the points throughout her movement, trying to maximize that capacity, keeping that body movement rolling. But I think that this music, with that music change, could like really show a different change of interpretation, not just energetically, but I think the more that she makes me feel that facially and like makes me feel that, I think that it's a better opportunity to have that engagement with your audience and your judges, and it keeps the ebbs and flows of a program alive. Nice
time
first
was 4
skate
minutes
for
and 8
Olga on
seconds.
this ice in Allen,
Next to
Texas.
skate, Nina Pinzarrone from Belgium with her free program.
As I mentioned about costumes, it looks like Nina might be wearing her costume. It also could be a practice version of it, but it's, again, whatever gets you in the zone and most comfortable. Born in 2006, we got a young one out here. That effortless glide on those crossovers. So I think I saw 2 back cross cup and really just creating flow from not much effort. The weight transfer too, I'm really enjoying that straight out of the gate. Again, it could be the difference of not having to skate first. It does make a difference. Another skater here marking the jumps, getting the patterning set up. Now, when it comes to back crossovers, I'm not going to lie, I am pretty picky on it. I don't love seeing so much body movement, and I know that it's a different story, like when you're trying to build power from a slower moment. So I really look for that in skaters, to see that effortlessness of controlling their upper body with their lower body, kind of disassociating it, not letting the push affect what's happening upstairs. Just my first impression, music alone, I think has such an opportunity to captivate your audience, because there's so much simplicity in what's being heard right now. I think with the jumps and obviously hoping that it's the cleanest program you can get at this moment in the program, like, you will have control of the audience if everything's transferred and done correctly. Looks like we're going more for jumps in the second half on this one, actually. Very nice. Musicality on this is very clear. I think as a skater, the easier you make the audience's job to observe and admire what you're doing by making sure that all the accents are seen and shown, I think it makes you enjoy the moments even more. Little wobble on that exit, on that ending there, could be a little tricky.
Next to skate, Lea SERNA from France, skating her short program, to be followed by Minchae KIM.
I think moving forward, some of these skaters will do more of an emotional commitment into their performances when the skate of the competition comes around, and it's about like slowly turning that energy up throughout the week. Different people have different approaches in terms of some people want to find that boundary, that line of which they're willing to push themselves to on that first practice, so then they can have more of an adjustment period throughout the week to see
Your music time was 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Skating now from the Republic of Korea, Minchae Kim with her free program.
Up next, we have from Korea, Minchae. Music can look like, or their interpretation of it. I think that's when it's so beautiful. A little bit more intentionality with what's happening there. It's a little bit just like going from one end to the other for me. would love to feel that intensity as the music is getting stronger and building here, even with those subtle voices underneath that you're hearing. I'd love to feel that in what she's skating and creating. Like, I feel like we're missing a lot of opportunity. Wow. I couldn't do that if I tried. That is absolutely stunning. Oh my gosh.
Your music time was 4 minutes and 14 seconds. Next to skate, Sofja Stepchenko from Latvia with her free program, to be followed by Livia KAISER.
Next to skate, their program is Sofja. Again, different approach, right? Like, we've seen more attempts of jumps within this skate by Sofja, and now we're seeing maybe potentially a bigger break. Some athletes prefer to do less elements, more of the transitional skating. Some athletes would like to do more elements in bigger chunks, 3, maybe 4 element segments, and then take a break, completely miss transitions, completely miss elements, and then run it back for the next section in a moment. Usually those breaks can last from anywhere between 15 to 45 seconds, maybe even a minute, depending on like the intensity of you want to be performing those sections and those parts, and like what your goal is within your practice. Like, what do you want to make? What do you want to get out of it? But I think we're looking at more of the technical approach for Sofja. Something I'm noticing a little bit though is when it comes to sometimes the technical approach, that you end up not putting as much emphasis on those in-betweens, and those in-betweens, like I told you, that's when you're actually going to keep me as an audience member, as a spectator, as a judge, as a coach or choreographer, anyone watching the sport. Yes, I'm excited for the jumps, for the elements themselves, but how I actually keep you in those in-between moments to not allow you as a spectator to have drifting thoughts, you can really dictate how strong of a performer and how captivating of a performer you can be. I think those moments, and it's that real attention to detail of the in-betweens, which for me is something that I'm really looking for when I watch skating. feel like I'm lacking that a little bit from Sofia right now. But again, like I mentioned, her intention might not be for that today. It might be more setting those patternings to get those jumps and technical things organized. There's a lot of moving parts when it comes to skating.
Your music time was 4 minutes and 11 seconds. Skating now, Livia KAISER from Switzerland with her short program.
I think I really like music, first off. I think that this music is such an opportunity to have such a big character piece with it, controlling the space depending on how committed you are to it. I've noticed a little bit of a harder practice for Livia on this one so far. One thing I would love to see from her develop throughout her career is like loosening up the shoulders a tiny bit. I feel like they're a little bit stuck. I want to see a little bit more disassociation from the shoulders to the lower body. As I say that, she does some wild body movement within her footwork step sequence. But I think that like what I'm really looking for is how do I feel that that effortlessness is really believed within the skater themselves? And a lot of the time when we're in a little bit more of a thinking state when we are skating, that stiffness can like really stay up in the shoulders. And another thing that I really look for too is just like the use of eye contact. Like how often are we checking the ice when we skate? And if we're looking down a lot, I mean, there's a lot of thinking that goes on with that. Sometimes it's nice to have moments to check in with yourself to think. But I think that, again, when you see someone that's hyper-focused, hyper-locked in, I think that their eyes are very used. They're locked into where they're going, what they want. You can see that the intention is very clear. Very much like that out of the spin. You could see that there was a very clear, direct moment to set that balance, to set that intention.
There are approximately
I think
9
because the
minutes
music
remaining in this
for her
conversation.
short program there, I think because it stays the same the whole time, I think that how that character development could go throughout the whole skate. Now it's just 2 minutes and 50 seconds, give or take, but I think that how I can build that character and the strengthening of it with that strong female voice that's out in that, I think is so crucial to, again, it's like about captivating the audience and connecting with them, because I find that the more you feel what you're doing and connected with your music and your movement, the more kind of captivation you have and control in the arena, and I think that's what's so beautiful. Some nice jumping passes by Lea there. think at this point in the practice, you'll probably start seeing a little bit more of that technical, the jumping work that these women will be doing. Is now, if in their performance and their skate, when they had their music, they opted out to not do as many jumps. I think they'll like now go through and set those patterns that they did with music and do the jumps and try to execute them. Kind of give themselves the best possibility of feeling that environment, the glide in, the run out edge out of it, seeing how we can just keep that body primed and ready. So interesting from my own experience. Like I would be so excited when I would go to competitions, and Kate and I would go, and the practices were like less than 40 minutes. It sounds so silly, but 40-minute practices, I'll be honest with you, were very tiring. We're so used to skating 3.5 hours a day, and then you go and do a 40-minute practice, and it feels like this could be almost more tiring. Just because of the adrenaline that you're getting and you're staying on the whole time. You're so focused and fixated and locked in, and so making the most out of every second that you have out here. When you're at home and you're training in the comfort of your own environment, you have the ability to let your nervous system ride up and down. Like you have moments of activation and moments of observation and energy management and slowing down. But when you're on this practice, there's intensity, there's moving parts. Sometimes you'll see, depending on who's in the groupings and their level of expertise, like it can sometimes feel and look like a beehive. Just everyone's zooming around, getting in each other's way, and not respecting that space. I mean, I find that this grouping right now is doing an excellent job of that. No one's really getting in anyone's way. There hasn't been many close calls. I mean, it's been really courteous so far. Something I found really interesting too is like you'll see too a lot of spins. I mean, obviously they're setting themselves up and warming them up, getting them primed and ready. But I think that when you're in different arenas, especially when you have logos that are so similar on each side, when you're in the middle of it, one, it can feel like you're a goldfish in a fishbowl. Everyone's staring at you and you're very much alone out there. But I think that what's really interesting is making those marker points, because it's so easy to get a little confused on which side is where. And then if you exit the wrong way, then you're going to have to do a quick readjustment, or you're going to commit to doing the rest of your program the other direction. So I think that when you see skaters skating and spinning particularly more in the center, when you're seeing that center point spin a little bit, I think that like it can be a little bit dangerous if you're not super clear and aware of where you want to be exiting and where you want to be going next. It's very much like driving. If you know you want to turn left, you don't just turn left. You need to be aware of when you're going to turn left and when that is going to happen. It's the same thing when you're exiting and doing a spin. You want to make sure that everything is timed. It's not just a matter of revolutions, but at what point am I looking at the Skate America, in the Skate America sign on the other side of the judges, and then I want to skate away from that in order to go towards the judges. And there's a lot more to it than just a matter of revolutions. Again, you can follow us on our social media, US Figure Skating. Check it out. I know they'll be trying to be as active as possible, giving you maybe potential behind-the-scene things, up-to-date things, all of the things like that. Follow it at US Figure Skating. And just because you have an allotted amount of time, I think that it doesn't mean you necessarily have to always use it. As I alluded to before, 40-minute practices can be tiring, and after long journeys, sometimes you want to be done at 35 minutes. And if you feel complete with what you've done for the day and you're ready to rumble for what you want for tomorrow, I think that sometimes overdoing it can be not necessarily the best setup. Sometimes that empty space, feeling the need to fill time, can create a lot of intellectualizing what it is that you're doing out there. And I think at this point, all the skaters are ready. The training's been done. Now it's just a matter of executing the work that they've put in. So I think that making sure that when you do things, it's intentional and clear, and it's not just because you have 3 more minutes on the clock that you should do something again. When you feel complete, you know you're ready to go. As you can see, one of the skaters has already got off the ice. They're feeling good about it.
Skaters, there is 1 minute remaining in this practice session.
So group 1 is now wrapping it up. You're getting your bows just to close things up for the practice, so that you can get off the ice and hopefully close out that skate. And we will get ready for our second group of women. We have 3 of our US skaters in that grouping: Isabeau, Elyce, and Bradie. Some phenomenal Japanese skaters that are also in this: Yuna, Wakaba, and Rinka. I think that this one's going to be quite dynamic, and I think it's going to be maybe a little bit more of that beehive energy. We're about to find out.
Competitors, your practice session has ended. Please leave the ice. We continue with women's group 2. The following competitors are on the ice for a 6-minute warm-up period before the music will be played in the following order: Yuna AOKI from Japan, Wakaba HIGUCHI from Japan, Rinka WATANABE from Japan, Isabeau Levito from the United States of America, Elyce Lin-Gracey from the United States of America, and Bradie TENNELL from the United States of America.
When we're talking about intentionality and clarity, I feel like the skaters on this group know exactly what they're here for. They know exactly what they want to get and accomplish, and what they'd like to also leave with after the event. What kind of hardware that might look like, and how that could be the next step to their ticket to the Grand Prix final. I know a lot of people are fighting for those spots, and I think that every step counts. I know it can sound a little redundant with that, but I really do believe that every second counts. Not just within the way that you're skating, your practices, but I do really believe that all of the in-betweens, and you're going to really start noticing that with some of the skaters in this group here. As for the U.S. skaters, I had the luxury of being a part of the U.S. Champs Camp this year and just seeing the program start in August and where they were at. And I'm really excited to just see how those programs have developed from that to where they are now, and just kind of seeing the growth and the direction that the skaters have pushed themselves in. I know that really between August and now, it may not seem like a long time, but you can get a lot of stuff organized, accomplished, figured out, and also altered if needed. You can see these skaters are really taking their time to feel the ice. You know, second group of icing can sometimes be not a problem at all or not great, depending on how new the ice is. Sometimes it's by the time that second grouping starts. Never experienced with the holes from jumpers, but I think that the ice can get ripped up. I know from an ice dancing perspective, sometimes you get stuck in other people's ruts, and that just gets shredded from grouping to grouping. In that environment while they're getting used to the ice as well.
Yuna AOKI
But
from
also,
Japan
there's a
with her
strategy
short
to doing it.
program.
It's seeing what you
Followed by
want,
Wakaba
what works best
HIGUCHI.
for you. On the ice now, we have Yuna. set it and it's all about the patterns. What I love about Yuna skating, witnessing right now, is that I really feel like I like to use this analogy a lot, but her movements are like run on sentences. There isn't really any punctuation to it, that everything becomes the next thing. I'm really noticing that like each arm movement, even within that spin itself, like how she brought her arm down to grab the leg. As you can see, like the fluidity from arm to arm, it's not about hitting a position necessarily, but it's like, how do I get to the position that I'd like to hit? And that's like another level of expertise, which I really appreciated that movement there.
Program to be followed by Rinka Watanabe.
Next we have Wakaba. I'd love to see a little bit more of that fierceness from Wakaba that I'm used to seeing. Again, first practice might not be her intention. She might just be trying to set the scene, set the role, set the patterning, everything for her. So I do hope to see that tomorrow from her, even though I know this is a long program that she's dealing with right now, but I think she's such a fierce competitor. I think the build of the program actually can be really, really captivating, depending on the commitment to the character and the power that's emitted from her as well throughout it.
From Japan with her free program. To be followed by
Up next we
Isabeau
have
Levito.
Rinka. That first 10 seconds of a program and the last 10 seconds for me are some of the most important throughout your performance. I mean, obviously you want to skate clean and execute as best as you possibly can, but I think the way you grab your audience in that first 10 seconds to get that setup going. Love this piece of music. I want her to shred with it. Really committing to that vocal, I think, is so cool when you can get there. So powerful. The music changed and softened there. I actually did kind of like how her body moved with that. I did feel that there was a difference and a change. Again, how do you show me the music? I don't want to just hear it. I want to see it. Oh, we'll grab like fizzle. Don't hate it. When she skates that clean, I know she's going to hit that hen bows with a little smirk.
With her short program.
I don't know why, but I feel like it would be so fitting.
From the United States of America.
We have next,
To be followed by Elyce Lin-Gracey.
Isabeau. That's fine.
Your music time was 2 minutes and 52 seconds.
I think it's very fitting for her
Skating now,
personality,
Elyce
especially to finish on that
Lin-Gracey from the
fun,
United
uplifting
States of
note.
America with her free program.
Up
Followed
next,
by Bradie
we have
TENNELL.
Elyce with her free program.
As I see Elyce develop, I think I'd love to see a little bit less work with the arms to do the turns and a little bit more of the hips and the feet making those turns work. I think that a lot of people will rely on the arms to make those rockers and counters and brackets all kind of work rather than allowing them to just be another form of expression in the way the movement happens. As you see in the transitions there, they are forms of expression, but within the footwork, they were needed to do those turns. Looks like the approach is a little bit more of a technically driven practice here, which might be right up our wheelhouse. Going for all, if not most, of the jumping passes.
Whether that's facially or more just maybe a visual representation of the belief in that movement, just a tiny bit more. Because I think that it's really important to come out here and show that.
Your music time was 4 minutes and 11 seconds.
Next and last skater for this group, we have Bradie.
I'm gonna do a little guess, maybe some form of river dance. Yep, that'll do it. It's always interesting to see other skaters' approaches to their practices too, in a way like some will decide to do short and some will decide to do free. Now noted that the women and the pairs will be skating tomorrow. Some of you might have been watching, seeing a lot of free programs out here, knowing that they have the warm-up of the short program tomorrow morning. I think that the skaters that are doing the short program today will also do the warm-up tomorrow with the short, and they're just prioritizing just that short program and not having a flip-flop of days. It's more just a matter of what you're comfortable with. It's like we're going for a full run through today, actually. I was never a fan of doing full run-throughs on practice at competition. I know some skaters like it. I didn't love it because I felt like I wanted to almost get that full experience. It was always really nice when we did do it because it felt like, oh, okay, we got this, we can totally do it. But oftentimes then I found that I would get a little too comfortable when it came to the actual performance. And although I want to be comfortable when skating, I think that I always wanted to make sure that there was that little level of, this is the one that really counts. And when there's that unknown of what that can be, it made you just stay that much more locked in. But this approach for Bradie might be exactly what she needs to set herself up for tomorrow. She may be looking for that known that, okay, there it is. Just another one of those, but a little better tomorrow, and then that's what we're looking for.
3 minutes.
Great skate, though. It has improved quite a bit since I saw it at Champs Camp, and I like the direction that she's going with it. I'd love to see her let it go a little bit more in that last part. I mean, I know it's a little early in October, but I want to see that thing go. I want that audience to get up with her and get me doing a little jig.
Wrapping up the practice for this second group, last group of women here. I will say the last couple minutes of the practice I always loved because they started playing some really good music, and I kind of felt like the work was done for the day, and so I felt like it was a really fun opportunity to just like kind of play around a little bit with Kaylin and even make some friendly connections with the audience members as we skated by, whether it was just eye contact or talking with them. There was definitely scenarios where I was asking for people's food along the way, asking what they were eating. There's always, Kaylin always was like, can you please stop talking to everybody? But I did love it. I'm not going to lie.
Competitors, there's 1 minute remaining in this practice session.
That concludes our women's practice for today. Saw some great skating. Saw some really clear things happening, and I'm really excited for tomorrow. So on your screen, you can see the rest of today's schedule. Up next, we will have the ice dance, followed by the men in the pairs practice with the times that they're on with. That's your Central Standard Time. Make sure to come back and check it out with us. I'll be doing commentary with all of those. Thank you again for coming. Really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. And again, you can catch the Women in the Pairs short program tomorrow night from 6 to 9 Central Standard Time on E. You should be there. It's going to be a great event. I'm super excited to see what our women produce. Later today, we're going to check out those pairs, see what they're bringing to the table. It's going to be a great event.
March 25th through the 30th, 2025, the world comes to Boston and the TD Garden. Over 300 of figure skating's best will compete at the 2025 ISU World Figure Skating Championships for the title of World Champion. The world's most celebrated skating competition returns to Boston and the United States for the first time in 9 years, and you can be there. Advance tickets are on sale now. Visit ISUWorlds2025.com for more information and to buy your tickets today.